Hey, so we're going to be wrapping up Ezekiel chapter, or the whole book of Ezekiel. So, chapter 39, verses 11 to 17. During the period of this war, or of this time, the east side of the sea, when it was obstructed, so that you can get in, you can't get out. Now, I don't know if that's true for now, but if you're traveling by or you are traveling trying to get out, I would definitely do some investigating on that. And then I wrote down the south. So if you're going to go south, make sure you have all the information prior to going that way as well. You may have to choose another direction. The word obstruct is from the 1590s, and the Arabic translation of this word is obstructing of justice, lying, which I mean, another association of the word is hinder, impede, inhibit, harper, or shackle. Now, the Canadian synonyms that go along with this word is kind of where I got disturbed. Instantly, there was smother, and then there was congest. Be prepared for fires. Make sure you have something to cover your nose and your mouth. And then overwhelm, gridlock, and inundate. An inundate is to flood. So my words of advice would be expect to be traveling, like having to move. Know your surroundings and have a plan for A, B, and C. Don't leave yourself with just one route. Second word of advice would be know where different altitudes are so that if there is a flood, you can get up high. The families that are separated for the ones that have their families back there. You came here to study and have a better quality of life. And I know you can feel your family's terror. I commend your efforts to bring them to safety. And when you talk to them, I want you to remain grounded, as you are a symbol of strength, something familiar and stable. Remember, you have the ability to remind them to listen to their heart for guidance. And if all else fails, I hope you take these words into consideration. There is no harm in preparing for what may come. From the above description, take it with a grain of salt, but I would also like to forewarn that the devil likes to play with courage fueled by fear. When your courage is fueled by fear, it blocks off your heart space, which means it removes your instinctual self. In the instance where you feel tension in your body, if you're holding a lot of tension there and it feels hot, this is a physical indicator that that's exactly where you are. A meditation that you can do, close your eyes and bring yourself to that tension. Wherever it is in your body, you can hug it mentally or you can hug it physically, whatever it is, hold it, touch it. Concentrate on that tension, and I want you to fill it with the love of seeing your baby when it was born. Fill it with the love of seeing a family member that you haven't seen in forever. Fill it with the love of the best day of your life. And then I want you to bring your attention back to your heart space. You can do this quickly or you can do this as a travel. And I want you to repeat these words. We are all that is light and darkness. The creator of all things, the one and only Most High. What is my path forward, as love has already won? I want to call it, there is only one creator. As long as your intention is set with integrity that one can only obtain through humility, that is how you're going to experience the courage that you need to survive. Look, this change is happening whether we like it or not. And when all else fails, I hope you take these words into consideration. But furthermore, I hope you tell your child how proud and honored you are to have had, or to have your child be in a different part of the world where they have the opportunity to take the culture, to take the customs, and share it with the rest of the world and recreate something, as the land is too corrupt back where you're from to create the social change that is necessary. I hope they know and they express to you and encourage you to do the social change, to work with God, and to fill in the fail safes that caused this war today, how it led up to this. Because God's seen the potential in you, hence why you aren't there. I pray that they take the opportunity to level with their child through humility and admit that maybe the social change wouldn't be possible if they were here because they're not ready to forgive themselves and others. Furthermore, I hope the child expresses to their parent that that's completely okay, because I would much rather love someone in all of their authenticity than expect them to change. The land has fallen victim to energy corruption. So what else do we expect? This is a whole nation killing each other over a label. This war is beyond us. And if the person had a chance, or if you got the chance to say, make peace with your demons, it wouldn't fucking matter because they can't hear you. And I hate to say it this way, but if you can't get the label through to the people that this is just a label you're killing over, go ahead and start your grieving process early, because that's not them, that's not who they are. Imagine being amped up, put into vulnerable situations, and insulted in front of your own people who are in command, and then have them blame shift onto a whole nother race of people who are left to do the same because they have no other choice. This war is a historical event in our history to give as an example of what happens when you trust in something other than what is and always was, to show you your path and show you your truth. This is what happens when you demand or convince people to live in a certain way other than what is and always was. Because Netanyahu, when I look at you, when I hear your conferences of what you say, I see a broken little boy denying the fact that he was extremely emotionally neglected, betrayed by somebody so deeply. He'll never admit it. And yet, the memory plays over and over and over in your head. And each time, a little bit of different responses, a little bit different comebacks, attacks, different ways of torturing that person mentally, emotionally, physically. And all this time, you train your soldiers to be in silent competition to the person they're fighting beside, creating a game of who's most inhumane so you can leverage their self-control while your soldiers compete for most insane. Netanyahu, I see right through you. And if I was vindictive, I know what would get to you. But you see, that's not for me to decide. So I put it in the hands of the Most High, of what is and always was, because only God knows what it will take for you to see somebody's strength through their humility. So I pray for you. I pray for your healing. I pray for everyone's healing from the pit of their soul outwards, to experience the full spectrum of the emotional damage that has been done. And one word of advice: the quicker you can humble yourself, the easier it will be on you. And if there's anything more to say about this, you can take it up with the Most High. My dad, he's available anytime. Last but not least, when you are going through these people and you're like, okay, this motherfucker, I love this motherfucker. Is he gonna hear me out? Okay. First and foremost, you need to agree on some kind of label. Like, this is lip gloss And this is a sticky note, correct? Get them to agree on that, okay? Okay. My name is Julia, and your name is Peter. Okay, get them to agree on that. Now, my name's no longer Julia, and you don't know me. How would you approach me? What would you think of me if you had no idea who I was? What would be the first questions that would come to your mind? Okay, get them to, because what you're trying to get into their mind is the realization of a label. Okay, you want to detach the label from identity and from belief. Do it with something personal, and then go get a rock from outside or something and be like, okay, this isn't a rock. What do you think of this? What is this mystery object? What would you call it if it wasn't blah blah blah? How would you get to, what would you use it for? How would you identify its purpose? Okay, and then ask the ultimatum question. Be like, okay, so how you just identified the purpose of this random object that nobody has ever seen before. You're an explorer, first time ever happening. The problem solving skills that you encountered. Or maybe it's an animal, like a bug. What would this be if you were an explorer? How would you describe its purpose? What would you be looking for? How would you feel towards it? Okay, get them back into like that innocence of the mind, and then flip the question on them. Be like, okay, you see how like this inanimate thing, even though we know what it is, can be something else. Talk about character. If you have a really close family, a lot of times people will, they make predetermined judgments on who people are, right? And then a lot of times we're searching for belonging and we don't want to upset our parents. Well, I mean, not me, but we we have like these strong bonds, like that's our attachment. And 9 times out of 10, attachment will win over authenticity any day. We want to get people back into the feeling of their body so that they can feel their authenticity, reconnect to the moral compass. This is going to be harder for people who are over 30. Fair warning. Not that it's impossible. We become creatures in nature. It's like customary impurity, okay? We set a ways, get used to it. We don't like change. Nobody likes change. Change is uncomfortable. Change is unknown. Change is unfamiliar. But what if? What if? Actually, it's not even what if. I'm telling you that change. You think you have a tight family now? My God, honey. My God, honey. You want to know what true connection and bond is on an emotional level? There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And it man, you'll feel empowered. You won't feel you're supposed to be anything other than what you are, and you're going to be loved for all that you are. And I'm not going to say it's easy getting there, but it is possible. I really hope this reaches the people that it's meant to. In the instance that pulls you through, your name will be known should you give the glory to the Most High. Should you make it known that the Most High pulled you through. Okay? The Most High, the creator of what is and always was, you got to get in tune with your heart, and you got to be open minded to what is shown to you, because we need to meet through humility. We need to find level ground through humility so that we can evolve. Humility requires forgiveness of self and forgiveness of others, and allows you to remove the judgment, allows you to humble yourself, because you can see yourself in those shoes, or you've been in those shoes. Compassion, right? Solution, unity. Chapter 40. Okay, so chapter 40, like I said, this gets where it's like really complicated, explaining the whole house of the temple once it's built, like the holy place. And okay, so it refers to this side and that side. And instantly I thought back to, we used to have this joke. Be like, hey, you know that guy with the face and the nose? Yeah, you know that guy. Or, hey, you know that house with the tree in the bush? It's just like, it's so indirectly common and general that it's, yeah. Or we would be like, oh, hey, man, hey, is that the guy? That's the guy. And we would trip people right out. We didn't do that often, but I mean, like, every once in a while, me and my brother, yeah, is that the guy? He's like, bro, I'm not the guy. Yeah, like near the end of it, it's a lot of instruction of like burnt offerings and the orders and everything you got to follow. So let's just take this one step at a time, okay? Let's not drive ourselves insane, because to embrace all that perspective at one time and then also be able to release it as it is all possible, and no one knows what that means, and that's okay. We like to have like direction or be certain about things, and life isn't certain. Life isn't black and white. It really isn't. It's easy to let that overwhelm you, and when you feel overwhelmed, it's easy to start thinking this is happening to me and not for me. You know, I think I got kind of lucky. Like when I think about having a really strong family bond and having to detach from that, something that you grow up with, and like it's a safe haven for you. I didn't have that growing up. Like right off the bat, like my family was fucked. The parties every single night. So like that security, that stability was never there. Having something that close of a bond with, and having to be like, hey, I got to detach from you and I might lose you. Damn, man. I see that as a way worse, as me not having, like, I have my brother, but like to have like a whole family unit where you bonded and you have really close knit relationships and you have time and community, that would suck, man. Like I feel like that's worse than not having anything at all. So my heart goes out to you. It really does. Let's get into land corruption though. So this had me thinking about global warming. Has anyone ever thought about, we're always looking at the particles in the air. Okay, cool. So we notice that there's more particles in the air. What could be adding to it? Cars, yes. Da, 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 da. As we evolve, you don't think this earth is capable of evolving with us? I'm just curious. And for two, if it's the plants that, where this photosynthesis happens, where things turn into oxygen, how come no one's looking at the soil, looking at the frequencies of the land? Is there something missing in the land that's not allowing the trees to be able to have this chemical exchange? Who's looking at the frequencies and letting Mother Earth tell the people what she needs? Furthermore, going back into the students, so in here it mentions that there's going to be a 7-year period of burying and a 7-year period of bones being marked, and then people, the first group marking where the bones are, and then people coming afterwards to bury the bones. Why is that? Because it has to be with people that the earth has chosen and trusted to be able to set the intention of the bones so it can transmute the darkness. You can do this with even gifts that you get. Someone gives you a gift with ill intention, or like a ring or whatever it may be. and you don't think it's from good intention, bury it in dirt and then wait 3 days, say a prayer over it, set the intention, let God be your mediator, and let that energy be transmuted so you don't have to carry that with you. The earth is healing. When you stand on the earth with your bare feet, your volts, the electricity current through your body will increase because the earth naturally heals you. So if the land is corrupt, the darkness that's on that land is going to take over the people. People can't handle power. People can't tell the difference between, because they don't live from intention, they don't live from their heart space. You're disconnected from your heart, power gets to your head. That's what I got from Ezekiel. And yeah, ciao for now, you guys. Hope this helps.